Welcome back to Canberra. Half-time, players getting set for this second half. Part of 3 games live on Fox Footy today as we get closer and closer to round 1 of season 2015. But this is a good game so far, and Ben Dixon's at ground level has been having a good look at what the Giants have been doing and how they've been moving the footy. Ben.
Thanks, Matty. Transition's been, I suppose, the word of the day so far. We spoke to Al McConnell, Adam Treloar, just about way they're transitioning the ball. Probably not getting the value they want on the scoreboard. I think it starts from their switch in defence. It's when they come to the corridor. The timing's not been right in the first half. Hopefully they've addressed that and they stay a bit more composed with the ball because, to be honest, they should be in front on the scoreboard and probably a little bit ahead, especially now Buddy Franklin's off the ground. Also, from a GWS perspective, an update. Lachie Whitfield's been subbed out of the game. He did come off holding the top of his left hamstring. I've been told he's okay, but Tom Scully's in and Hampton's out, and Buntine's been subbed in also, boys.
It seems to work pretty well for me. Whitfield to be subbed by Scully. It's a good match.
Both #1 draft picks, and both from Dandenong Stingrays too, I would have thought. So, no, a very talented young man, the man on the bench, and certainly Tom Scully as well. So he'll be looking to get a few more minutes under the belt in the lead up to round 1.
So statistically not much between the two sides in that first half, and it transfers to the scoreboard with just a margin being 4 points. Just the inside 50s where Sydney have a little bit of a margin on the Giants. Second half underway. Mumford to do battle in the ruck with Naismith. And first to it, Kennedy. Oh, he just couldn't quite get the handball over to Cunningham. Hoskin Elliott got a hand in there. Quick kick off the outside of the boot. Almost a miraculous mark by Tomlinson. Goods. Flicked it out. Haynes got a bad bounce. Probably could have tapped it out wider to either Smith or Griffin.
He may be in strike here.
Yeah, he elected to bring it back in when he should have tapped it out.
Good call, Matty.
Yeah. And he slipped just going into that last step. He slipped, so that might have put him off as well.
Mitchell. And so we saw Mitchell come on the ground and then go back off when Gary Rowan returned to the ground. Boundary throw-in. Kennedy again.
Well, that's the third
time, isn't it?
Well, you've got to learn from that. You just cannot afford to hold a jumper to stop him getting to an area. Just play one-on-one.
Rowan's coming, and he's got it.
That's a well-weighted kick.
Wasn't a way to kick. I mean, it was elevated, but that's fine. It was just out in front of the leading Gary Rowan. We know he's got the speed, and just he ended up took a very good mark as well in the hands under a bit of pressure, but fantastic kick. But obviously, GWS midfield have been told don't allow Kennedy any space at the stoppages. You've got to put body pressure on. Obviously not executing it properly, but instructions.
Well, your structures aren't right at ground level. You're not getting enough support if you've got that job.
Saw Rowan kick a good goal in that second quarter from a set shot. It's been a highlight of their kicking today, the Swans, but he's just tugged that left. So Mitchell is on. Kieran Jack, I think, might be the man that's been subbed out for the Sydney Swans.
Put on ice, I would have thought.
Nice take by Davis. I want to move it quickly. Scully's got fresh legs. A little chip pass from him. Ward, loose man coming. Tomlinson, Scully kept... Oh, he just kept going and dropped it. Everybody knew where it was going. And Sydney on the way back out might hurt them here. Kennedy. Just not sure where to go, so forced to kick down the line. Patful, a good piece of it, couldn't complete the mark. Cunningham comes through. Heaney did enough to tap it to Bird. Mitchell gets another possession. And back goes Heath Shaw. And the switch again to Haynes. He's got a bit of time. Might have to go a bit straighter than he wanted, but Kelly peeled off and he found the mark all right.
He did that well. Thought his way through that very nicely.
Oh, wouldn't be good.
Yeah,
it was.
risky.
Yeah, it's risky. I don't mind this, though, and I know what Benny Dixon was talking about. They haven't scored from these switch. Yeah, I think I'd like to see him switch and try and hit back in the corridor to get through the lines.
So not just go up this line.
Exactly.
Unless something's open like that,
your
of course.
first thought here should be to look in. Look in.
Well, he had Canelio in the middle, but he decided to go down the line.
Well, that's okay. There's no worries to here. Now it's the next kick getting inside 50.
Mumford will go short. Green.
Probably the next one needs to be another 15, 20 metres short.
Yeah.
It's tight into the pocket.
Well done. Good build-up.
That was a good build-up.
That's exactly what Ben Dixon was talking about straight after half-time. That, you know, they haven't had looks at scoring from their switches, but that one they just controlled with good foot skills.
So this, a tight kick for Cameron. He's kicked 2. Difficult angle for the left footer. Goes with the drop punt, and it's shallow. It's just to be home. 1 point apiece in this third term.
A confident start from the Giants.
Here comes Pike. And the spoil from Patfull. Down to Treloar. Green went one way, went the other, ran himself into trouble. Back to Scully. He gets around Reid. He goes for 9 points. Does it get enough on it? No, it doesn't. Smith going back for Sydney. They move it quickly through Grundy. They've got a call inside from Parker. Straight up the corridor to Mitchell. Quick hands. Real good transition here from the Swans. Laidler out in front of Heaney. Perfect pass.
You got to go now.
Hanbury's still going. Jetta sees Hanbury, takes it, and that's how you do it. Hanbury plays on. It doesn't get much better than that when it comes to transition. Perfect from the Swans.
And through the centre corridor. Their first kick out of the goal square was wide, then back into the corridor and just opened up the GWS. So now back through the corridor, finds an option in the middle of the ground, quick ball movement, but more importantly, taking the right choice, and that beautifully executed kick out in front of Heaney, and then Hanbury just powered through from half back to get to the top of the goal square with a bit of space. And just snuck it through on the left.
That's straight out of the book, isn't it? That's how you do it, boys.
That's beautiful football.
Hanbury, another busy first half from him. Such a high standard. The Sydney midfielders like Parker and Hanbury and Jack. Kennedy. Mumford. Here's Parker, the man that started it. He's wrapped up by Treloar, and he's called it for a throw. Treloar. It's a call out wide. Davis, a long way from home, and he gets it to Cameron, and this time he spilt it, sliding in.
There's always half a chance to hurt his shoulder when he rolls into it like that, because he hit pretty hard on that occasion, just trying to stretch out.
Yeah.
Might be grabbing the ribs.
Tender.
Yeah, something there.
Well, the other thing is that Sammy Reid's got the job on him now, boys.
Yeah, well,
Teddy Richards is on the bench, so yeah, it's good to see this. He's going to have to fill these roles.
And it's interesting, isn't it, given that Franklin went off so early, no thought whatsoever to put him forward.
No, they're obviously trying through the pre-season to get him confident across centre half back or in the full back position. Use his athleticism. Just in between positions over the last couple of seasons.
So the setup here, the Swans have got a couple free. And he went down in front. He could have gone a little bit further towards Jetta, but Pike puts it back over the boundary line. Will reset. So Bunteen trying to... He's setting up as the loose man for the Giants. Laidler, the loose man for the Swans, in front of the goal square. Shield just off the outside of the boot.
This is where Big Mummy's got to clear some space here.
You watch here. I think he might come back if he gets his hand back to the boundary line, or they were trying to get it there. There's the two GWS men.
How's that by Shealy? Somehow got free, but that's a situation where he wanted to get onto his left. If he kicks right, they're in front of goal. Mumford again. Quick hands.
Good hands.
Smith. It's off the outside of the boot, and the numbers will favour the Swans. And sure.
This is where the Swans look to go quickly.
Jetta.
Well blocked up on the far side for GWS.
This is the blueprint for GWS. They've done it twice now, right through the corridor. They tried in the second quarter, GWS, but it broke down. This is how Sydney are at their best.
Reeshaw still going. Not his best kick. And probably let the Giants off the hook there. Now Heathshaw goes back. Handball wider to Patfull. Kelly. Tomlinson, they've got a couple that can raffle it out there. Tomlinson gets it, now he's not sure. Kelly, they're going to run around Lloyd. Yeah, it wasn't much, it was a low percentage ball in front of Green.
Bit scrappy on that occasion. Just after kicking 4 unanswered goals in that end of the first term through the second quarter, the GWS. And the Swans have come back with 3.
It was a good tap out in front of Ward. Green has got it now. Dylan Shield under that. And just a lull in proceedings here. Swans up by 10.
Massive players around the ball over the last 5 minutes.
2 man up. That's a set play, that.
Smith, it falls for him eventually. Tried to squeeze the handball back to Ward. In turn, Treloar. They go backwards to Shield. Throws it on the boot. Gets it up high. Cameron's got to beat 2. And he does. He is the key forward. And a little bit of a chat there to Reid, or a smile.
Yep. Might have been a bit of a chat in the lead up to the smile, I think.
Yep.
But quick off the mark. Jumped, protected the drop zone with his body. Took a pretty easy.
Just have a look at this throw up, boys. Callum Ward now. You can have a look at Devon Smith on the outside. He has already ran out wide. No doubt that was a great communication. Whether you call it a set play or a stoppage play, it doesn't matter.
Cameron for his 3rd. He's got it. And he is the leading goal scorer on the ground at the moment, and he gets the margin back to what it was at half-time.
So they hit back out, very important. They need to clear the congestion because there's massive players, and they had been for a few stoppages in that forward half for GWS, so they had to clear the space somehow.
Here it is here.
But he's standing by himself to start with.
Yeah, we can see Devon Smith. He's already left the screen, knowing that that was where the area was going to be. It's smart because you don't want to hit the ball in a congested area. Players are just going to be pressured. He had that chance to run onto that ball. Gee, good marking between 2 defenders here.
That's an extremely good mark.
Well, that's where I'm thinking Sammy Reid should have been saying to Jeremy Laidler, you take the front and I'll go the back. But they were sort of side on, both of him.
Got to give yourself the best chance.
Oh, exactly. Especially when you're playing against a great forward like this bloke, you've got to make sure your teammates are helping you.
Mitchell got that quick. That's a quick kick from Haynes. He got that boot to ball very quick. Smith again. Canterbury read it, cut it off before it got to Cornelio. Griffin gives away the high tackle on Parker. Parker's very good at putting himself over the top of the ball, isn't he? And winning those free kicks.
Yeah, he does it extremely well. Yeah. He's up to 21 disposals. Back through the corridor and out they go again, the Swans.
Davis. That's a clever punch. He was out position there and he got back to the contest. Now Scully. Bug. Just to Palmer.
Yeah, left foot, I think, hit him board here.
Yeah, they need to find the corridor, but the Swans are protecting the corridor very well, so forcing this wider kick. So it just lowers your options going into the forward 50 now. Cameron
gets off his man and goes into the pocket. Grundy's hard to beat in this situation. Got some help from Core, but Cameron's still going. Can he make it? 4. No, he can't.
The Grundy and Naismith, I think, clashed. Just ran into each other. Both went to ground. Jeremy Cameron held his feet.
Parker. Over the back towards Towers. Get some help. Bird was a bit slow. And so it's going to come to Palmer. So they've just been stung into action a little bit here, the Giants.
Yeah, again, I think if they could get inside a little.
Palmer, he just hits the top of the square, hoping for something here.
Oh, that was too easy.
Oh, no.
Paid the free kick.
Paid the free kick.
It's too easy for Cameron. When you've got that many key defenders in the area, a key forward or anyone shouldn't be able to just stand there and take a chest mark like that.
I thought he might have paid the free kick to Hoskin Elliott for the push. But no, it's just Cameron just stood and waited. And the ball falls into his arms. This for his 4th goal. Yep, makes no mistake. And he looks like he's in for that season that we saw where he was All-Australian.
Okay.
So many injuries last year, he just couldn't get fit. But when he is up and running, he just manufactures goals from nothing. And the Giants back in front. Let's get down to Ben Dixon.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Sydney's transition. And this is where GWS fell down in the second quarter when we mentioned at three-quarter time. It's just the patience and timing of when they shift the zone and the defence. They've got time when they switch. That obviously shifts the whole zone across, and then they've got the access to the corridor. They do it so well. It's why they've been a good side for a long time, and the understanding of each player, especially off the half-back line, and that opens it up. And especially when you've got a lot of guys like Franklin there, I mean, they can cover the ground and the space up forward. So just copybook from Sydney.
Yeah, they do it well. One of the very elite teams in the competition at using the corridor.
2 in a row from Jeremy Cameron. Sees the Giants back in front, and the spoil from Davis. Now Sydney need to respond through Jeddah. And he takes off and kicks towards Parker or Heaney. That's a good jump. Good spring from a young man.
But body positioning, and young players or not natural, non-forwards, you can run under the ball in that sort of situation and be worried about the pressure. But he jumps and takes the ball almost in front of his eyes, sort of. So that's a really good jump. Makes it extremely hard for Bunteen to get a spoil. If you take it directly above your head, it's easier to hit the ball, but that is a very good grab.
Lynchy, he reminds you a bit about Jack Zeeble when he goes forward. You know, the ability to outbody and the strength. I think we're finding a few more players that are midfield types that can play that one-on-one role.
And he finishes.
Well, he's kicked the second goal, so he's had 2 set shots from very similar positions. Kicked the first for the afternoon, in fact. Now he's got 2. And he is really pushing for his first game next week.
You know what I like about this? Because when he was leading, yeah, well, there you go. His first NAB and second NAB Cup games, fantastic. He likes to kick a goal. When he went for the mark, he could have stopped and propped and then gone for the space. But he knew that he couldn't do it in the end, so he's jumped and kept the space in front of him. As you say, players jump and keep their hands up really high, and it means that the spoil can come. They had no hope of getting to that, so no, he's a player of the future, there's no doubt.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fuss about him over the last 12 months.
From the academy.
You can see why.
Well, they're lining him up, don't worry about that. Out of the academy.
One for next year, isn't there?
Yep.
Anyway, the Swans did answer quickly. They're back in front. They've got a free kick holding the ball against Green. And it's Parker again. Such a smart footballer. Quickly over to Rampy. Rampy with that long left foot. Heaney again. Got underneath it that time. Back on it. Through his legs. Got it back out. Tunnelled it back to Mitchell. Kept it alive, Heaney. And Mitchell snaps. Well, it is out of bounds, so there's still a chance here, Sydney.
Looks dangerous, doesn't he? He's got a fair leap about him, Isaac Heaney. Young man out of Newcastle. Not exactly prime AFL recruiting zones.
Davis under the pump. And Bug tapped it forward further towards the line, and they're just trying to run it off the boot of Shaw to gain a little bit of meterage and relieve the pressure a bit.
Might be conspiracy theories at how many times he lived there, how long he had lived there beforehand. Lynchy, was he shifted up there to hide him? There's a lot of conspiracy theories going around at the moment about the academy boys.
You're not going to claim there's another Greensboro boy that was moved out of your area.
That's a good take in front by Phil Davis. Had the height advantage on Robinson. Now to Treloar. Well, it was a little bit quick on the release there. And Shaw did okay to give it back to Treloar. And that was a bit messy in the end from him.
Yeah, Adam Treloar, the one part of his game, I think, the finishing by foot, is just the area he's got to improve. And that's all around the ground, not just coming out of the fence when you're under enormous pressure.
Naismith, good knock. Parker, Bird with a little shimmy.
That's dropping the ball.
Yeah, he just put it down.
Yeah.
Good tackle from Cornelio. Short to Griffin. Wants a runner. Cornelio doesn't really want to be involved there. He just thought, well, I'll just go with the switch. That's what we've been doing all day to Haynes.
Yeah, again, the Swans have protected the corridor extremely well. Forced the wide kick.
2 metres, Teddy, 2 metres. Stay out.
Green chips to the man who just come on the bench for Davis in Patfoot. It's going to go in the direction of Ward or McCarthy. And the spoil over the line.
He'd set himself for the big launch at the pack, McCarthy. Just didn't quite get the sit. but again has shown enough today to suggest that he's going to be a handy player over the next few years.
Down in front towards Griffin, who just paddles it towards Smith. Hard to get past a couple of defenders. High tackle, so get the free kick.
Thank you.
He just slipped up.
Yep.
Parker.
There's a low percentage ball in towards Kelly, but he was equal to it, to Griffin.
Oh, look out.
He got past a couple, tried to do a bit too much, and they've turned it over. Now Kennedy drives it low out in front of Hanbury. Swings around, or he thought about going back. He's got a runner in Reece Shaw. And he in turn is looking for Towers. Heathshaw with it. And he's going to turn it back. Hoskin Elliott, good aerialist. Callum Ward on the burst. Treloar back to Ward. Elliott, bang, Bird got him. He was hit by a bird and went down.
The bump's alive.
Looked like you'd see something like that. Waratahs versus Brumbies just come flying in. Big hit.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest parts of our game. We just do not need to take it out.
Clever knock by Mumford. Put Griffin into space. Sydney have got plenty of numbers back in their defensive 50, though, so there's not a lot of room for the Giants. Canelio tumbles one forward, and Mitchell reads it best.
He did that well. Held his opponent under the ball. Sam Reid is the man that he's playing back there as a loosened defence.
So Mitchell is looking for goods. Bunteen just needed to tap it back towards McCarthy.
Teddy.
Parker with 26 disposals, the only man over 20 at the moment. And Jeremy Cameron with 4 of the Giants' 8 goals. This is a good sign for things to come for the year. Kelly. Mumford on top in the ruck at the moment. Reece Shaw with the spoil. Reid to Rampy. Shaw peeled off and he's used, and he chips it to Bird. Laidler. Switch to Richards. Looks in the corridor.
Yeah, their first look still is back in the corridor. That tried to hit that 45 pass, 45-degree angle pass.
Here it comes.
Yeah, so they found the corridor. Now if they can get it moving quickly. Whereas the Giants just haven't been able to dominate the corridor at all when they have possession.
Next in the queue is Pike. He might just give it off to Rowan, or he goes wider to Reid. Well, that's a real bad error. Bug is going to chip it up in the air and hope that Ward's got enough speed. Reid gets there first. And he's made up for his error there. Smith. And Sydney have another opportunity to run it out, and it's Reece Shaw once again. Getting plenty of the footy. This time he chips it to Jeddah.
He's going to run handball on the outside.
Yep. To Rampy, who heads in the Heaney direction. And Haynes read it good, read it well. Patfull wanted to keep it in. Heaney goes down, Patfull stays up. A little bit of back and forth at the moment. Shaw just edging Hoskin Elliott out of it. Rampy back first, but Griffin's right on him. Play on the call. Palmer has to give it quickly to Griffin. He does. Griffin spots a man in the middle. Ward steps, couldn't get clear. Kelly squeezing it through. And it's out of bounds on the full.
Just didn't have the time to see Scully. Would have been a left handball, would have been a very good one, but just under enough pressure from the Swans to rush the kick.
Rowan, equal to that task. Told to move and looks inside and finds Adam Goods ahead of Bug.
They got that number here.
Yep. Now he's kicked it out in front of Lloyd. Patfull's left his man. He's going to have to get it, Patfull, and he did.
Well done.
Left his man, got in the contest, helped out, gave it to Scully. His kick too low for McCarthy. And Sydney again. It's a bit of back and forth at the moment.
Well, that was great work, as you called, Matty, from Joel Patfull to leave his man. an inexperienced defender stays back on his man, and you see the overlap, and they get opened up. But the fact that he was confident enough to leave his man, make it a 2-on-2 contest, and turn the ball over.
We're seeing plenty of that at the moment, just going back and forth between the 50s. And it's Palmer's turn for the Giants. With under 3 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Not much change to the score. It was a 4-point game at half-time, and now it's 3. And here's Ward, Green, trying to get a man inside 50, and they do. It's McCarthy.
Well, that was the one.
Mark.
That was the finishing mark of it, wasn't it? Both sides had struggled to get inside 50. Matter of fact, they've turned the ball to Swans, I think, the last 3 times going to the wing area.
Yep.
Sooner or later, you're going to have to pay a price. Even this entry wasn't a deep entry. Like, you're kicking from 40, probably 50-odd metres now, but he got it at 48. Neither side, other than Cameron getting off his man, can get the ball deep.
This for his second. From what we've seen so far, he'll get the distance. From just outside 50. It's all a question of accuracy, and he bangs it into the woodwork.
And the Giants have struggled to get the ball deep because Sam Reid, the spare, has just been loitering around, so they don't want to just kick it to where they're outnumbered.
On the way out, and coming forward and trying to take the mark was Robinson. He just lost his footing there, and he may lose the football, and he does, holding the ball.
There they go again, try to load up for an entry. So he took possession, decided tried to get around.
Tripped his own feet.
So they've gone long.
McCarthy, almost, but coming through Palmer. And he misses what he probably should have kicked.
Yeah, and if you're going to go long, you've got to make sure the ball comes to ground if you can't mark it, and attack the front as the small crumbing forwards or the midfielders. Exactly as Ward did on that occasion.
See, on the way that they're going inside 50, I think they're 4 up in this quarter, GWS. They're not scoring. They just need to put scoreboard pressure on the Swans.
Smith on the way out, and he just got caught just as he kicked it, which forced it over the boundary line on the full. Bunteen inside the shield.
Well, it becomes energy sapping.
Yeah,
if you
it does.
Continually going, you just don't get the reward for effort. Yeah, they've got a spare number on the far side.
Well, he thought about it, didn't he?
Yeah,
No, it's going to hang in the air a bit too long.
Patfull's on.
Patfull was the man he thought about.
He's just thinking, no, I can't take on that 65 one.
Yeah. Now Patfull gets it, but it's given Sydney a chance to push across.
Gee, there's some space right on the edge of the square, the centre square. That, you know, they're looking wide, but that's that kick that we know that Sydney Swans hit inside. He's gone wide again and turns it over.
Bit of a tired leg, really.
Yep.
Here they go.
Hanbury, Mitchell, he's fresh. And he gets a runner in Parker, but misses him by hand. Just an unforced error from Mitchell. They might get it back, and they do. And that's another unforced error from Mitchell.
Yeah, he was in 2 minds with that first one. I think he was going to take it himself.
Kennedy first safely back to Grundy. In turn, he uses Laidler. And the clock ticks down.
Again, I was talking about this Jeremy Laidler, boys, how they're playing him in defence. I know what sides would be trying to do just because of his lack of leg speed.
Yeah.
You take him deep all the time, or as deep as you can. You do not want him rolling around as a loose man because he intercept marks really well. Hasn't done it for a few years, of course.
It's a great opportunity with Malcheski out of the side for someone like himself, or whether it's Gary Rowan off half-back or Jetta.
Free kick again against Mumford in the ruck. It's a Pike. And he's going to load up and kick it long and hope for a mark inside 50, or maybe even a push. Not to be. It was a mark for the Giants in defence. So not much in it at this game on, well, as I mentioned, 4 points at half-time. Now it's just a 1-point game. The Giants having plenty of the footy, but not getting in front of the scoreboard. We had a couple of close games on Friday night, including a draw. Maybe we've got another close game here in Canberra, right here on Fox Footy. It's a 1-point game. Back after this. Coming up next after this game here in Canberra, Carlton taking on Geelong from Etihad Stadium. The Blues hoping to get back into the 8. And the Cats, well, they've been in pretty good form in the NAB Challenge, and they look to continue their magnificent record of playing finals footy. There's a lot to like about what we'll see in this game. Second of the triple header this afternoon on Fox Footy. The Blues and the Cats. And that'll be coming up after this, as I mentioned. Let's find out what's going on in the Sydney camp. But John Longmire, who's not coaching today, but he's talking to us, and he's talking to Ben Dixon.
Thanks, Matty. John, Stewie, you're in charge today, but you're sitting there front and square. What's been your read on it so far?
Oh, look, there's things we're doing okay, things we can improve on a bit. They got a couple of easy goals that quarter, a bit disappointed with, but just making sure we stop that transition play from the defence into attack.
Disappointing with Franklin, but it gives you an opportunity before round one to mix your forward line up a little bit. Isaac Heaney looks pretty comfortable down there in his one-on-ones.
Yeah, obviously we'd rather have Lance have kept playing, but that gives Isaac a chance and a few others up a bit of a chance in the front half to kick a few goals and put some presence in there.
Thanks for your time, John.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Yes, as ever, John Longmire right across it. And it has been interesting to watch their forward structure. We saw Gooch go in there as well. We saw Heaney, the left read out. And at the moment, they're a side without 2 targets in Tippett and Franklin, 2 that we often talk about.
Yeah, it's a vastly different forward 50. And sure, you spoke in the first half about how Buddy Franklin's such a focal point going inside forward 50. And we see the targets here. Franklin, 37% of occasions they go to him.
Yeah.
And so they're just looking for him all the time. Tippett, as far as a second target in any team, he's ranked #1 in the competition as well. Goods is off the ground at the moment, Reed's at the other end. So they're working today with a vastly different forward 50.
Well, the other thing with that, I just think, as I said, the Hawthorn example of Buddy Franklin, when they went about 35% of the time to him, the next year they won the grand final, Buddy was part of it, they only went 24%.
Yeah.
So I think that's an over-reliance that you don't want to get into. Now, they might be happy with it. He kicked 80 goals. I think he needs to kick 100 odd to make that work for him if they're going to go to him 37% of the time.
Well, he still does, for me, remain the best chance of anyone in the comp to kick 100 goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's just
and they said he's had his first pre-season too.
Yeah.
He didn't have a pre-season last year.
Well, just think all the scrutiny on him this time last year, everyone was saying he's overweight and that sort of stuff, but looks extremely fit. So he can get through the assessment at the hospital today with an all-clear report. I'm sure he's up for a big start of the season.
We just saw Mike Pike there push forward. He's no Buddy Franklin, Big Mike.
Swans by a point in this last quarter. And as we've mentioned a couple of times in the NAB Challenge, we know it's not as serious as playing for points, but the competitive juices, when the scores are close in the last quarter, they just take over. Players just want to win. Scully. And well read by Smith. And he drills it to Rowan in the middle of the ground.
Stay there, right out at the back.
Well, that's Tom Scully's opponent now. Tommy Mitchell allowed Tom Scully to get the ball. Scully turns the ball over, and then you pay a price. Your man gets the ball straight away. That's the one thing about Tom Scully is his disposal, and he needs to be better because, he's, well, big money. We don't care about the money now. It's just being a good player. Ooh.
Yeah, a little bit sore there. Came in Hoskin Elliott. So we'll see what happens to that as the Swans go forward. There is Pike, Tony mentioned. Davis with him. Davis trying to just clear it out of the danger zone. Patfull's got to wait, and wait he does.
That was Hoskin Elliott behind play there.
He's carrying his shoulder. Might have come into that contest and popped his shoulder out.
Right there. Play on.
He's in a bit of bother.
Yeah, just coming from the ground now.
Doesn't look good when they hold their arms up like.
And there's a look of resignation about that walk off the ground that he's.
It didn't look like he hit his shoulder. It sort of looked more in the ribs, didn't it?
Or maybe.
I thought he winded himself, but
maybe he's under there. Maybe he's cracked a rib. But
Maybe
anyway,
it is
we'll take a look a little bit later. We'll see what's happening with the action with Shield just popping it onto the chest of Tomlinson. As Hoskin Elliott goes from the ground.
yeah, he might have got a knee in that, or hit in that rib cage just under, which does hurt.
If you joined us late this afternoon, we're doing some things and haven't been watching Fox footy. Lance Franklin knocked out in the first quarter. Gone to hospital just for a checkup. Palmer, too much on it. That's twice so far the Giants have gone inside their forward 50 with a little too much on the kick.
Here it is.
That's what he...
Or was it a knee?
It did.
A little knee up into the ribs. Oh, no. What's he done there? Well, I'll tell you what has happened. I've had an injury in the past. If you can pop a rib cartilage, they're very painful.
They hurt.
Yeah.
They're nice when you have a sneeze, aren't they?
For about 3 weeks.
Plenty of players around the ball. Now Palmer went in pretty hard there, and he's come out with a free kick, Reece Palmer. He got some high contact.
Been a good player, Reece Palmer. For a pick-up, just a pick-up, you know what he gives you. He's not polished, but he's a great competitor. He's got a left foot, which gives him time. He's become a very good defensive forward at times on rebounding defenders.
Oh, and kicked goals as well last year.
Yeah.
I thought last year was his best season since winning the NAB Rising Star.
23 goals, 12, so he did a great return for a small forward.
So here's Palmer, a chance to put the Giants back in front. Sydney are up by a point. He's kicking for goals. Never been his strong point, and his scores are now level. And just some news coming out of the Sydney camp. Kieran Jack has been taken to hospital for assessment on a problem with his lower abdomen. So that happened just before half-time. So they made the switch at half-time. He's gone to hospital as well. So Jack and Franklin both at hospital at the moment for the Swans.
Yeah, well, that is big news. We weren't aware of that at half-time.
No.
Thought he might have been just rested, put on ice for round one, but that is a concern.
I believe it's caught everyone by surprise, including their medicos. They didn't see it happen.
Yes, there's plenty going on up in that coach's box, and it's not just about what's happening on the ground. It's what's happening down at Canberra Hospital at the moment. Two
of their key players at hospital at the moment. Palmer has it or a chance to run onto it for the Giants. He overran it. And Laidler pretty happy to see it over the line. So they're under the pump a bit here, the Swans, even though the scores are level.
Hoskin Elliott just...
that right arm is not moving.
Not sure what the problem is.
He was looking underneath his left armpit, and now the right arm.
It's a task for Ben Dixon to get all over that one.
Well done by Rowan, but Patfull got there first. Good tackle. Back on it nicely, Gary Rowan.
Well, that's the stoppage. That's the other strength he's got, isn't he? The leg speed. You just cannot get away from him. He's just super quick, but the chasing down. Patfull's not quick, but it's just the want to chase and tackle like he did then, Gary Rowan.
Parker and Treloar battle. Naismith did okay to get it to Jeddah. Releases Lloyd in a bit of space, and he misses his target and Pike. So it's an unusual forward line for the Swans, and that's the net result. Although good pressure from Robinson on Haynes.
Heath Shaw just having a spell. Settled into that GWS back line over the last 12 months pretty well.
Again, Mumford winning the knock to the advantage of Kelly. Handball along the ground, pinched by Jeddah. Hanbury got around, gave it to Parker. He got around Ward well, squares it up looking for Cunningham or Rowan or Naismith.
Too high.
Yep, it'll be Patfull. Kick from Patfull out wide. Tomlinson found himself in a little bit of space, but gee, it was a hospital handball to Treloar. Grundy. Goods to take on two. Punched it down in front. Patfull first to it. Haynes running. Yeah, he just has to hit his target or it'll come back pretty quickly. Scully. Treloar. Floated it.
There it is again.
Disposal by foot has been pretty poor in the second half.
It's a measured pass from Laidler to Grundy. Towers through the corridor they go. Big chase from Cameron, but Towers got his kick away and he got it out in front of Gary Rowan.
Well, here's the other target that you know can start from the square as a forward, and no one's going to get him on the lead. If he gets some space and enough space, a very dangerous target. And I think he's in the old 6'3".
Yeah, absolutely. Good size.
So there you go.
From outside 50, even though it's a 6-point play because the man was inside the 50, it goes right. And the Swans are back in front by a point.
Talking about that draw, Matty, we're a big chance here.
Extra time?
No extra time. We had the draw Friday night. We're going to have two draws in a weekend, Lynchy.
Yep. But Gary Rowan, he's going to be an interesting one over the next 12 months to see where he actually settles, or if he does actually settle in a position. Because he's got some fantastic tools, but just not sure where his position is at the moment.
Sun shining now for the first time today here at Canberra. It's been an overcast sort of afternoon and just poking through the clouds in this last quarter.
Beautiful afternoon now, and it's in the right shoulders heavily iced now.
Gee, amazing how we couldn't pick which for that one. For going rib cage, for going here,
we
for going...
started with shoulder.
Popped out of shoulder.
Then lost confidence rapidly.
Look at the paper tomorrow.
I'll tell you what, if you've had that ice pack on his big toe, I was going to be worried.
Yeah, look at the paper tomorrow and say right hamstring.
There's Gary Rowan. See the height difference there. He's actually taller than Joel Patfull slightly. No, I think Patfull's around the 191 centimetres, 192.
Parker keeps it in for the Swans and moves it up towards the man you just spoke about, and Rowan.
Yeah, powerful, good speed, beautiful kick for goal. Just, I don't know whether he would settle, and there's going to be options over the next few years. You think key position down back with Grundy and Richards getting to the latter stages of their career. That's why they're obviously playing with Sam Reid down there to see if that's a viable option. But, you know, he could pop up down there, Gary Rowan.
I think you've got a plan to beat the best. And to beat the best, I think the two-pronged attack to going to those two so much as we've just shown the stats doesn't work. You have to have other options, and he is one that I would persevere as a leading forward. I know that it's hard to get a kick as a leading forward a lot of times, but just to keep throwing the mix around.
If you're the third option, that's going to be a tough gig.
See, they don't change that. I really worry about them going all the way.
Yep.
I know they'll be competitive. We know that because they're good enough. But just to win it, I just look at those key forwards. It hasn't worked over a period of time now.
How quickly we forget 9 people out of 10 selected Sydney to win the grand final last year.
Yeah, well...
They won't be far away.
No,
at all.
Again, I say that, but I think... Yeah, you have a look at Hawthorn's side, and they have got 4 or 5 players, or maybe 8 players, other than their key tall players, who go through that region. And it's just the unknown factor and the ability to set up on them that is very hard.
From memory, they had 8... players that kicked 20 goals or more last year, Hawthorn.
There you go. And they're the ones you've got to plan to beat the best. Others you can get across. Like Lance Franklin and Kurt Tippett might kick 12 or 14 in the game against the bottom rung sides, especially in the second half of the year where it's all over and done and dusted.
Craig Bird hooks it round the corner. It's a pretty clever kick in the end because it gave Parker a chance, and he's having another day out. He'll end up with 30-plus disposals, but importantly for his team, chance for a goal.
Well, he's a goal kicker too, so there's two. There's two options you've got. You've got to keep getting that number up to a point where you've probably got 8 to 10 players who you know can do the role. Even Josh Kennedy can go forward with a big body.
Yeah, and Goodsey over the next 12 months or 2 years.
Kieran Jack is a small forward.
25 goals last year, Parker, from his 25 games, and that's how you do it. Straight through from him, and just a bit of breathing space for the Sydney Swans. Okay, here's what we think with Kieran Jack just before half-time.
Oh, yeah, Kieran Jack there. So he's... Okay. Yeah. So he's landed down.
Ooh. And then is twisted back over.
So... there might have happened
well, just
on the hip point. Or...
when his ribs are open, he's gone down. We won't look at that little elbow there, but it looks like he's...
And then he's flipped.
When his ribs are open, so prior, the first landing on the leg.
Let's have a look here again.
It may have been.
Yeah, I reckon you're right. I reckon, and it twisted, his torso twisted, didn't it? So
he's fallen down on Dylan Smith.
You don't want to look at that.
Ben, you're across this?
Yeah, I just got to, in terms of Kieran Jack, they suspect it's a rib injury. He obviously has gone to hospital, as you boys have mentioned, so we don't think it's abdominal. And with Will Hoskin-Elliott, I just spoke to an official there at GWS, and they're not quite sure whether it's AC or his shoulder has popped out, so they're just trying to determine that, but they have actually iced it, so we know he couldn't lift his arm even a little bit there, so in terms of that, he's obviously out for the day.
So plenty happening on the benches for the respective teams, and Sydney getting a run on here with Kennedy. Trying to find Heaney, core with him. Davis, give on the up, going backwards to Bug, who just chips it in front of Palmer, who can play on and use Scully. Not a lot of options for him further afield, though.
But still content to go wide.
He missed his target again, Tony. You don't like that, do you?
Well, I think it's the one thing, you know, as in how he's sort of profiled, that's the one area which he doesn't do well. He'll accumulate the ball because he runs that hard and he tries hard, he does everything like that, but his kicking skill, it's the one skill in the game that if you haven't got, you're going to be under a lot of pressure.
Kennedy comes over the top of Shield to Ward, and Goodsey called him out. over 350 games of experience. He called him out and he gave it over to Jetta, and Jetta wants to hook it back, but it stays on its line.
You do wonder whether he did actually call for that,
It looked like it.
was lace out.
Straight to bin. Yeah. Sydney have just sort of stepped it up a little in the last few minutes, though. Doing all the attacking and doing all the tackling.
Great tackle.
Heaney wraps up Kelly.
And that's from a young man who's been there 5 minutes.
He's going to keep it low to a lead from Robinson and gets him on the chest. It's a tight angle for the kick, though. Swans by 8.
That's a good lead. Quick off the mark. Jump to protect the ball again.
Josh Kelly then, when he got tackled, he looked down the ground, he gestured to teammates, come on, give me something, give me. In the end, you've got to know if you're still under pressure, just drive it down and see if you get a one-on-one.
Put it into offensive position.
Exactly.
Robinson's kick is across the face, so another behind from Sydney. So they inch ahead to a 9-point break. Here's the tackle.
Well, see, that's the thing, OK, there's no one who didn't lead to you, but then to be tackled like that, at least you're nearly in the scoring zone. So make a decision either way.
Bunteen gets it from Shaw and they go down the line or around the boundary. It's a lucky bounce here for Tomlinson. He gets away from Grundy. Scully, strong hands. Palmer, Rowan gets him. And the umpire says, well, it just bounced out in the tackle, so we're going to ball it up.
Yeah, it could have been a bit of both. Could have been in the back as well. Here's Gary Rowan coming in. And he just turned him.
Just turned him a bit. Yeah. Saved the in the back free kick. Ward was the third man up again. Kelly on hands and knees. Scully, quick give, too quick in fact. Ward goes back for a second effort. Floats it up high. Cameron comes, almost got it. McCarthy, well tackled. Shaw didn't panic. Quick give. It came from Cornelio to Treloar. Behind from the Giants.
I'll tell you what, Callum Ward at that throw up just inside 50. He's done it 3 times now. Every side's got to understand they're going to go out wide. They try. He goes third man and belts it towards the boundary line because that's where the space is all the time. So sides are all to be looking at this and saying, OK, boys, any stoppages in those areas, just look out for Callum Ward, and the players forward of the ball just play a bit wider.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, boys, GWS forwards. I think if you're sitting under the ball, you just know 100% of the time Cameron's going to come flying over the top. He's just attacked the ball in the air. You wouldn't want to be sitting under it too long. You might obviously injure at some stage.
Adam Treloar was the one on the bottom of the pack that last contest.
Treloar involved here. That's a strong take by him. No effects whatsoever. Now the quick kick to the middle of the ground. Now Patfull's got a bit of space, a bit of time. And they've opened up Cameron to this side and he likes to play on. He thinks about it, goes back, a bit far out, 60 metres from goal.
McCarthy was just a little early with the lead. Yeah. Cameron was still on the back foot.
He's just going to set it up and hope for a mark here. Swans get plenty of numbers back, including some tall timber in Naismith. Ball at ground level. Palmer, good smother. McCarthy. Green, like a pinball, just bounces off a couple of bumpers there. And the kick out only as far as Heath Shaw. Short, lead into the pocket, finds his target. And it's going to be a difficult kick from the angle for Tomlinson.
Again, the Swans protecting the corridor, so if they're going to concede a mark, they'll force the shot to be taken from wide.
Already kicked a goal. Tomlinson, what's his possessions for the day? He's had 15. 8 marks. There's the angle. Now it's going across the face.
We just notice here again, we'll most probably start wide with the kickouts, but very quickly they try to get back into the centre corridor.
Where Lloyd is.
They did not on that occasion.
Robinson.
They're always looking to go back in.
On his right boot, down the line. Good kick. Spotted Rowan in a bit of space. And Rowan should have done better with it. Dropped the mark under not a lot of pressure. Now Davis back to Tomlinson on the wheel to Green. Chipping over the top. Smith. Giants coming back here. 7 points down as we get a bit closer inside 7 minutes now to the end of the game, and Smith's kick is very wide out in front. First to it Reece Shaw wanted the free kick, didn't get it. Treloar gets it from Shield. In turn, Bug from 50 metres out to the top of the square. A wrestle. Guess who? Jeremy Cameron. So many times when in that situation, he finds a way to mark it on his chest, and this will be for number 5.
That's just class. I mean, a big man to hold out a 6'5" defender in Sam Reid. Maybe he hasn't played a lot of football down there, Sam Reid, but still, just again, protect that drop zone while under pressure. A lot of grappling going on. Take a great chest mark.
Let's see how he works through here. He's probably smart enough. Couple of steps in, couple of steps out, and across the body, I would think. Bingo.
Yep, exactly right, Tony Shaw. 5 for Cameron, and importantly for the Giants, they're back to within a 1-point game.
The modern footballer does that very well, thinks their way through those little check side kicks for goal. But Jeremy Cameron, super impressive. It was a great build-up. Great vision here from Adam Treloar to get the ball out wide, and then this one comes in long here. Now protect the drop zone, really good grappling. He had 2 hands on Sam Reid to push him away. So pushes away now late, and then takes that grab. Well, that is a good grab.
The amazing thing that got me there was Jeremy Cameron was on the corridor side, so inside the square, and then he worked his way to the outside. Now, normally you'd want him to go outside, but he's a smart player.
His ability to read when the ball's high in the air, where it's going to drop.
Well, that's right. And the really good ones, the good marking forwards, actually read it early. So they protect that drop zone very early, and then just...
Well, Callum Ward free kick here, boys, off the ball.
Yeah, just sparked into action here, the Giants.
Well, that was Dan Hanbury. I reckon that was payback time then, from what happened in the first half, just prior to half-time.
He's going to hit it long. He's going to hit it in the Cameron zone. First to it, though, Treloar. Out comes Cameron, runs into Smith. A little palm down by Pike, over to Bird. Swans to run it out. Towers leads. Ball comes free. Hanbury right with him. Green worries him out. Just got a little bit of kick on it, just enough. Tomlinson, Griffin stands in the tackle. Now Hanbury. Now Towers. By hands, the Swans go back to Grundy. Grundy, switch of play. Spots Rampy in a heap of space. Rampy, fumble. Pressure from Cameron. Gets it. Should give over the top and didn't. Holding the ball, and the Swans take the advantage, but they're untidy on the way out as well. The pressure mounts. Smith takes on Rowan. It's a little bit back to Palmer. Not 15. Told to play on. Sets it on its way again. In front, Treloar recovers quickly to Shield. Shield around the corner and behind. Scores level. The draw is coming, Lynchy.
We might have another one. But again, Treloar to hold his ground. Got the ball down on the ground, then remained on his feet, which was very important to set up that shot. But no, it's picked up a few gears this game.
Bird now for the Swans in his defensive 50. And again, it's a little bit untidy from Sydney, not used to seeing that. Along the ground, the handball from Kennedy to Mitchell. A little bit of time for him. Mitchell is down the line looking for Jetta, who's gone forward. Heath Shaw right with him. A mirror image there. 32 on 23, and Shaw works it over the line. Got some issues there, Sydney. Stewie Jew learning on the job, but the issues with a couple of players in hospital. Here's Kennedy on the burst away from the contest. Floats it with the left boot. It's going towards Cunningham. Rushed through by Bunteen.
Mike Pike, beautiful tap work then. Get the ball down to Josh Kennedy.
Sure to bring it in. Spot Scully on the run.
He's worked hard, Scully. Worked hard since he's come on the ground.
And Davis worked hard to get free from Kennedy. And now Davis's kick, not a good one. Smith comes out. And he's going to win a free kick for a hold.
Had to hit that target. Phil Davis just coming forward, had a number of options, just turned the ball over.
Yeah, they've got a mismatch forward. They've got Adam Goods on Tom Scully.
Pike's kick in that direction.
Yeah, well
spotted Alistair. Goods just pulled the kick a bit so they can have a run at it. And Rowan did have a run at it. Green burrows in, gets it. Handball's out to Ward. Quick hands by him. Patfull. Look at the brilliant exchange of handball by the Giants. And the skipper Ward wants to run. Now they go. Treloar, Shield, man out wide. Giants with some space. Scully kept going.
Too many.
One too many. They've still got a chance. Shield, quick hands. Smith, a fumble. Sydney will clear it here, you'd think. And they do. Oh. Kennedy, Jetta, rebound footy coming for Sydney. Through the middle of the ground he goes. Spots Rowan. Not sure what he was trying to do there. Went over his head. Kelly back to Bug. And they can reload here, the Giants. And they do through Shaw.
Well, they've got the extra number. They've just got to think their way through it. They turned the ball over last time going to their forward 50 when they had the extra.
Mumford.
Oh, just needed someone to be... Yeah, the switch is on again here, but he's gone short. Well done, Cohen Wargie. That was a great run through the centre.
Mumford kicks and spurts. Look at that. He's still going, Mummy. He wants it still. Tomlinson decides to go longer. Kick. McCarthy on a lead. Rampy did enough to bring it to ground. 2-on-1 here for Sydney. And they did pretty good to hold it up here.
Good tackling.
Yeah, it's a good effort by the Swans to hold it up. There's a couple of players cramping.
Yeah, his players going down everywhere. And we just saw Hanbury and Ward go to that last contest, and they're both out on their feet.
Treloar with Bird. Quick give from Smith was a beauty. Smother from Shield. Gave the Giants another chance. Mumford somehow to Scully. Now Griffin. Quick give. Green going to send it in quickly. Sends it straight to Grundy. Now this will test the Giants on the way back because Shaw has it out in front of him. Loves to run. Gets the bounce he wants. Waits. Measures.
But no one to kick to.
2-on-1. Patfull going back for the Giants. And it's a good punch from both players there. Towers realising they had nothing there, Sydney. They needed a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, good kick from Ree Shaw, but you just saw before he kicked, he just pulled up a little bit. I think he's either started to cramp in the right calf, but he just limped from the ground.
Swans by a point, minute 40 to go. Giants have the footy now. Bug around the corner. Big leap from Cameron. Oh, it doesn't matter, Ward's in front. He's inspired at the moment, Ward. Now Cornelio, one-on-one situation. Sydney in the best position here with Rampy. Here comes Smith. Can he close him down? We can put him into the fence.
Well done, Smith. Had to force the issue there to keep the ball in that danger area, the kicking zone or the scoring zone. Good pressure.
Dean Brogan, Luke Power on the coaching panel for the Giants.
Naismith down in front. Smith there first. Got a handball. Scully, quick kick. Will it be a behind or will it be the match-winning kick?
Oh, he's marked it. Oh, look, Cameron marked that.
He's had a fair piece of it. I think Ted Richards is saying, I had it first, but that one just floated up in the air from Scully, from all the crowd. Here's the grab.
Oh, I tell you what.
If he held that down to the ground, that's his mark.
He almost
got a mark. Yeah.
Scores a level.
From nowhere.
You called this, Matty.
It's 2 draws in a weekend. Swans have the ball with Lloyd.
Oh, look out.
There's a bit of pressure there, but he gets free. And he heads to the wing. And he heads to Naismith, and he found his target inside the last minute. Next score will probably win it. Jetta. A little bit of movement. Oh, it's a poor floating kick. Haynes and Cunningham back towards, or a fumble from Griffin. Tired legs everywhere. 30 seconds to go.
Very tired.
Nick, you can see Nick Davis is out in the ground now, the runner for Sydney Swans. He'll be telling him now 30-odd seconds. Both runners are out there, matter of fact.
Tap down by Mumford. Griffin, Scully, caught.
Kick the ball out of the area.
They want a handball, don't they? Oh. And they go back here to Bunteen. He kicks it out of the area, gets it towards the wing.
Chance.
It's a big catch here, and it's a big one taken by Heaney. Swans, 10 seconds to go.
Ted Richards told him to go.
Just go, get it up long, see if someone can take a match-winning mark. Here they go, big pack forming, ball at the ground level, quick kick, snap, before the siren. It's a goal to Bird, it's a win to the Swans with a second remaining. Don't worry about 2 draws in a weekend. The Swans have won in the most unbelievable fashion with a second to go.
Fantastic build up there. Isaac Heaney, I mean, he took a mark when he needed to.
Here we go.
Here's the crummy mark. Massive pack. Mummy comes from the side. Good spills out. Towers just a little handball around to Bird and snapped it beautifully. Once it hit his boot, it was a score. It was enough to win. And that's a really good win from the Swans. The last 15 minutes have been some really interesting football. It ebbed and flowed throughout the game. Obviously, the massive focus on the 2 injured Swans players, but they'd be pretty happy with that Swans victory in the end.
Well, he just stayed front and square, didn't he? He knew that a big pack was coming. He just stayed there. It was the right spot to be. Towers realising he had a man straight in his vision, straight to him, match-winning goal.
And plenty to like about that result. Plenty to come out of it for both teams, I think. See Heaney there just shaking hands with Tom Scully, and he'd be very happy with his performance. So with this man, Craig Bird, he's downstairs with Ben Dixon.
Thanks, Lynchy. Is that the first time you've kicked a goal to win the game?
Yeah, it is. To win the game, definitely. Just got lucky there, just tried to rove, but it was a good performance by the boys. Good hit out before round 1, so it's a good performance.
Pretty fitting, though. Tussle all day. I spoke to John Longmire at 3/4 time, just said, you know, we've got to stop their transition. It was a good arm wrestle. Yeah. Coming into the season, it's a nice finish.
Yeah, it was. It was a good hit out. GWS, credit to them. They brought the pressure all day, ran hard, really tested us. So good hit out before round 1 and ready to go now.
And Buddy Franklin out, which gave you a little bit of mix-up forward. Isaac Heaney, well, he might be your little sneaky up there during the year.
Impressive young kid, isn't he? Really strong overhead, runs well. I think he's going to play a few games this year and be a valuable contributor for us.
I saw the boys getting in here. Was that about your celebration? They said just calm it down a bit.
Yeah, it's just no need to carry on like that. But no, we were just happy to get the win and put in a good performance for round 1. So yeah, we'll take that.
Good on you, Craig.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, it was. It's a nice dress rehearsal, isn't it? You get a pressure situation before round 1, and the players were aware of what was going on, and he kicks the match-winning goal. So it's a nice feeling as they go to the room. So that's all you can ask.
I think out of that game, there wouldn't be many players who would be down on confidence. You know, they've all done some things, and that's what we said before the game. You've got 2 weeks to go till the real McCoy, we call it, at 4 points, AFL football. And you want to play well, you want your team structures to be right. I didn't see a lot in both styles of play. They slow played a lot, but it was a fairly defensive game. And there's Hoskin Elliott. We don't know what he'd done. It doesn't look right good. Right shoulder. And gee, the injury issue is, Buddy Franklin's gone to hospital, and I would think be having x-rays on cheekbones and things like that.
Let's get down to Ben again. He's got someone you know pretty well. He's got Hanbury, and he's got Reece Shaw.
Thanks, Matty. Reece, firstly for you, you get the shower Gatorade, but we just want to talk about the incident in the middle. Just a little bit of brother fire there.
Yeah, look, mate, I've copped it for about 20 years, and good to get one back on him anyway. No, he's a tough bastard, so he'll put up with it.
That's not a bad rehearsal for round 1. Nice hit out. You obviously needed the run in terms of the form for NAB Cup, but it's a great finish.
Yeah, look, full credit to the Giants. Don't underestimate them, no one. Look, they're a really good side now, and we had to play really hard, and it was a good rehearsal from round 1 for both sides.
Talk about hard hits, Hannes. You'll be plenty of ice tonight, I'm sure. You copped it from all. Even Mummy in the middle there.
A bit of friendly fire from Big Mummy, so that's what he's known for. He's a hard bugger Mummy, and he gives him a bit of grunt in there. So certainly they're going to be a good side this year, and they pushed us all the way. Could have gone either way, so it was a good game.
The structure-wise, we talked at Horse 3/4 time. He just said in terms of transition, but you started to get your numbers around the ball a bit more in the support, which is the old Sydney.
Yeah, we've tried to work really hard in that scramble and two-way run. That's what we base our game on, and it's important to work both ways. They have some really quality runners in their midfield, so we can get better, but good dress rehearsal for round 1.
Well done, boys. Thanks.
Summed it up nicely, Daniel Hanbury. A lot of talent on show this afternoon from both teams, and in the end we had a fantastic finish. And the fans that came along here to Star Trek Oval in Canberra will be driving home this afternoon thinking that was worth the money, because the Swans just defeated the Giants in the last second.